what are you people clapping for?
You.
I mean, seriously, most of you have no idea who I am. That's okay. I spent the better part of my life not knowing who I was either. Can I tell you a secret, though? Who matters? Who matters? It matters who you hire. It matters who you fire. It matters who you keep close to you. It matters who you train. It matters who your employees are, who your customers are. It even matters who your friends are. I woke to the buzz of the fluorescent lights. It was the first thing I heard. But I knew only seconds behind that would be the alarm bells of the fire station. And then right behind that, the roaring of the diesel trucks as they left the station. And so I jumped out of bed, and I jumped into my boots. I threw on my bunker coat, and I ran all the way to the truck as I was getting dressed. I get to the back of the truck, and I jump on the tailboard. I buckle myself to 20 tons of bouncing, rolling steel. Strap on my air pack, and off we go. We get to the fire scene, and as the truck comes to a stop, the chief yells, "Norris, hit that hand line!" I grab 200 feet of 2-inch hose off the truck, throw it over my shoulder, and as I step to the ground with one foot, the truck starts to take away the other foot. Suddenly I'm on my back. Well, not flat on my back. I have an air pack between me and the ground. So I'm laying here trying to turn over, and I got 200 feet of hose in my face. The crew chief saw everything. He runs to my aid, looks at me, and laughs. He says, "You look like a turtle under a pile of spaghetti." Now, for time's sake, I won't tell you about the time that I let go of a charged hand line and soaked the wing commander, or the time that I got a 40-ton, 8-wheel drive, dual-engine crash rescue truck so stuck my crew chief was crying. Oh, little girly man. Over the trouble he thought we were going to get in. Now, raise your hand if you think I won awards as a firefighter. Raise your hands if you think I was the Barney Fife of fire departments. Yeah, much more like that. But you know what? That was a job. Back then, that was my job. It was what I did. I've also been a salesman, a marketing guy, a father, a husband, a brother. Oh, and a DJ, and a grocery clerk, and, oh, that's enough. You get my point, though. It's not about what I do. Who matters? Have you ever had those employees that walk out the door for a lesser job, or even no job at all? Or have you had those moments when you have to hand that sales award to the biggest jerk in the company just because he keeps making the numbers? Have you ever had those brainstorm sessions with all the other supervisors going, how do we award Joe? He's such a great and awesome guy, and he doesn't work in sales. He never gets trophies or bonuses or perks or awards. How do we love on him? I think all those could be solved with one thing: the power of PDA. So we have to answer 5 critical questions about PDA. The first one would be what?
What is it?
What is PDA? So what is PDA, ma'am? What do you think PDA is?
Personal desktop, something or another.
Okay, well, no. What do you think PDA is?
Same thing she said.
A personal desktop thing. What do you think PDA is?
Public display of affection.
A public display of affection? No. What do you think PDA is?
Personal data system.
But, okay, so it's funny that you get that, because that's what I get most of the time. Guys go, a PDA is a personal digital assistant, you know, like a Palm Pilot or a smartphone or an iPad to be updated. And ladies all think it's a public display of affection. Now, if you were thinking Christmas list already, you've already got that, don't you? She wants affection and he wants a new iPhone. Okay? But that's not what it is. It's a public display, meaning in front of everyone. You ready for this? Of appreciation. Very good. See, that's what our employees don't get. They get commission checks. We reward people for what they do, not who they are. Ladies, raise your hand if you sincerely felt appreciated when someone said, "Nice shoes." Gee, there's no hands. It's amazing. Why is that? Because it doesn't count. Okay, so the 5 critical questions we have to ask about PDA. What is PDA? We got that one. Next, who needs PDA? Everybody. Who gets PDA? Very few. You know that if we have a good PDA program, everyone knows what everyone deserves to get awarded for and appreciated for. I'm going to give you 5 tips on that in just a moment. The next question is, who gives PDA? Does that matter? Does it matter who gives PDA? I mean, if I walked in and said, hey, you're a great wife, you'd be like, how does he know? I'm not qualified to give that, right? So the power of PDA from me to you, it just doesn't have that. You're a great grandmother. You're like, I don't have any kids. What are you talking about? My point is, PDA has to be qualified. It's got to come from the right person. So now that you know who needs it, and you know that it matters who gives it, how do you decide who gets it? See, we got to have some parameters for that too, right? Now let me ask you this other question. Who's impacted by PDA? Everybody. It goes all the way through, as Jim mentioned before, your culture. It's a big, big deal. Now let me ask you this question. If you own a company, do your customers need PDA as well? Absolutely. It goes up and down the chain. See, I've had those employees who, they come to me and they're the ones that are hard to appreciate. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? You have this employee who walks up and says, you just never show me any appreciation. And I'm racking my brain. I'm thinking, when was the last time you did something awesome? Shows up late for work every day, leaves early every day, especially on Fridays, does mediocre work, never meets a deadline. Really? What am I supposed to appreciate? I'm left empty-handed. Have you had employees like that? I've had employees like that. I've had teammates like that. I've had clients like that. I've had vendors like that. Have you had vendors like that? They come to you and go, you're not sending me any business. You're not getting done what I've been giving you. Why would I give you more? So how do we deal with people like that? I've had those kind of employees walk out the door, and I shrugged them off. In fact, I've had friends like that were unreliable, that you couldn't count on, and they said, your standards are too high. Okay, I'll get better friends. But when the mother of my children, my wife of more than 15 years, was ready to call it quits because I didn't know how to show her the appreciation that I have for her, that's when I got it. This just might be important. You have to show appreciation to people who are a part of your team. And I don't care if they're employees, subordinates, friends, family, vendors, or customers. If you don't appreciate what they've done, they will leave you. Appreciate ideas. I don't care if they're good ones or bad ones. If there's a lot of them, you're eventually going to have a good one. Appreciate their attitude. Because if you have a positive attitude, you'll encourage them to have a positive attitude, but a bad attitude on your team is like a ball and chain around a runner's ankle. Appreciate their commitment. People who show up with tenacity to just keep pressing forward no matter what comes at them, appreciate them because a committed administrative assistant is a gold mine worthy of appreciation. Appreciate their loyalty. Appreciate their loyalty. If you don't appreciate their loyalty, you know that time that they speak well of you to a customer, or they speak well of you to a friend or a potential vendor, and they turn to you and go, your fly's unzipped. They tell you the truth personally and honestly in private, and in public they represent you well. That's real appreciation. And appreciate their integrity, because people who have integrity know when their leaders don't. And if you don't have integrity, they won't stay around long at all. I'm going to throw a surprise on you real quick. Christy, would you come up here? I'm going to give you a real quick sample of PDA. We already know that for me to say, Christy, I love your red coat here, would not be real PDA, right? What real PDA would be, I started a book in July of last year. I started another one 2 months ago. And Christy has committed and been loyal to typing more than 400 pages from handwritten notes close to 20 years old to see to it that that book is published in time for a book signing in December the 17th. And although she's married to someone else, she is a friend of our family, and her commitment to me and to my business has been the key to our success to this point. So if you would, give Christy a hand with me. Thank you so much. Thank you. I want you to realize what PDA is and what it's not. It is not you have a nice shirt or a nice hair or I like your shoes. PDA is when you genuinely appreciate someone for who they are and for what they mean to you. So go out and appreciate people in your life and keep the ones that you value the most close to you.